Hello, this is Willcol100 returning once again with Banished. With our small village of 25 people, we are surviving our exodus from wherever we came from, and are thriving somewhat. So we are 5 years, approaching our 5th winter now. In our glorious little city here, that I'm attempting to rapidly expand so that we don't have everyone die as an old geezer and no children. Have a little bit top-heavy population right now. We're looking a little bit too much like Europe and Europe or Japan. Actually, no, we're looking more like Japan than even Europe, and not enough like America. We want to look like America. Okay, so we've got some construction jobs in this wooden house. So we're going to get another house in soon, which would be nice. Allow some of our allow a newlywed family to actually live in someplace other than the parents' house. We have a tailor that's not productive because we're out of clothing. We have iron and wood already waiting for the blacksmith whenever new tools are required. The blacksmith even got a nice stockpile of iron sitting around for him. We do need to gather more iron, because I want to get a quarry working, so that we don't have to worry about the surface stone just being miles and miles away. As well as I need to get more houses up. Probably need about 10 houses. No, 11 houses would stabilize our population, so that we'd at least we'd start having more children before we start crashing the population due to people being ancient. We're already going to have a crash. It's too late. 22 people versus 3 children. It's too late. We're going to have a population crash. If everything goes well, we can prevent it before it gets too out of hand. We do have a lot of people taking advantage of our road. You can see we could probably use a road there, because some people are taking a turn off and going to the storage barn where that road ends. So I'm going to put in a road. It's not a really high priority build road, but our builders are probably going to prioritize it like it's the new dawn or something like that, because no one's clearing the one little bit of stone on top of our location for that house. It is -1 degrees as we enter the early 5th winter. Someone finally cleared that spot so people can now start delivering stuff to the wooden house so we can get it built. We have a tunnel here that's postponed to whenever I feel like we need a tunnel. Or whenever I feel like we have enough stone to actually build the tunnel. Right now that's going to be kind of an efficiency bottleneck because the people are going to be slow walking over this hill versus walking up a nice dirt path here. Because they walk faster on roads. I have enough wood. Let's get a few more houses open. Business. Still got laborers out in the fields, bringing in wood, bringing in stone. Basically, I've opened up most of this space. This space is all going to be empty. And I can use that for something. Or I can come over here, I can clear out the stone over here, the iron over here. Just trying to push the trees. The trees are going to be pushed back farther than everything else, simply because I'm building so many things that only use wood. Wood and a little bit of stone. As far as surface deposits, wood is the most abundant. But it's also the one you usually use up the quickest, because you just need it for firewood and such. And the next quickest is probably the next most abundant is stone. You don't quite use that as quickly, because everything you use stone for is, you don't need it once it's done. You don't need to use more stone. But you need it for a lot more things than you need the iron for. Iron is, again, it's something that you need. You constantly have a drain as people use it up as tools. And invariably, the map will become, at infinitum, unplayable because you've used up all resources like stone and iron. Unless you get trading. And even trading, it can become difficult when you run out of iron in the coal mines, and you have quarries dotting the landscape everywhere that are empty. That's a long, long time off. We're only 5 years in. We've just hit the beginning of our 6th year, and everything is going splendidly. We have food, we got wood, we've got stone, we got iron. We're a little low on firewood. I'm surprised we're actually low on firewood. That woodcutter usually is able to supply enough. Of course, it has been cold, and everyone's been burning it. And we've got new houses that are taking firewood. Granted, we only had 200 firewood, so this house took like 50, this house took like 50, this house took like 50. There goes most of our firewood. Yeah, that's like probably what happens. You've got like 200 there. This house comes up, grabs 50. This house comes up, grabs 15. You quickly run out of firewood. But it's not gone. It's just where it needs to be for when it's needed. So again, we still have a wood shortage. Never having enough wood. I should probably get this Forester's Lodge go. Let's unpause this Forester's Lodge. Let's get people down here, clear the place, build it. That will allow me to get wood from another location. Could also assign more people to our existing Forester's Lodge, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and max it out to its 4, because when the other one gets done, then I'll split 50-50. We'll have 2 in each. That does mean we are short, very short on laborers right now. Which means certain things like the iron getting moved from the iron mine to the stockpile across the street will be slowed, which is bad. So we have some new children because we have new houses, which will postpone the massive population, well, ameliorate the massive population crash I'm expecting. We are almost up to a lovely number of 30 people in our village. Complaining that our reserve of logs are low, which they are. They're very low. We have 11, which is probably all going to get used up by a woodcutter. If it doesn't get taken for this Forester's Lodge first. We have a new adult. So we got 24 to 7. Reserve of logs is low. Yes, the reserve of logs is still low. It hasn't changed. That status has not changed. We do actually have plenty of stone in here. So maybe I don't need to worry about rushing to getting that quarry right away. We still have a marketplace and a trading post place that I haven't built. But they're really low on our priority list. Trading post would be useful for actually starting trading, so we can possibly get some livestock. Livestock is probably the most labor-efficient food source. It's definitely not the most space-efficient. I think most space-efficient is farming, but farming is the most labor-intensive. Though fishing is pretty close and labor-intensive relative to productivity. Which is why I'm not doing any of it, because fishing without an education system is like asking to starve. When your fishermen don't know how to put bait on a hook, you don't get very much food in. Something along that lines. So we need more logs. I'm not gonna build those other houses, because until we get the logs, we don't have enough to, we're barely gonna have enough firewood. Well, we'll have enough firewood to get through the year. Because we don't actually consume that much, because it doesn't get that cold. We do need more wood, and I'd like to have some firewood or some wood sitting around so that our woodcutter has wood to cut, so that we can actually get up to that 200 firewood. So our Forester's Lodge has all its goods, so our builders will construct that. I'm just slowly scrolling around the map. We still have jobs for our laborers, so I don't need to be giving them too many more jobs. We do have plenty of stone I can get a hold of. And there's a little bit. Is there any iron in there? Oh, there's a little iron up here. Just a little bit. And a little bit over here. Definitely a lot more stone than iron. I do need 80 iron to build my quarry, so that we don't have to walk that far to get iron, to get stone. Granted, the quarry is going to be about as efficient as the mine is. The mine is producing like 8 to 12 as these, depending on how long the miner can stay at the mine site. Maybe a wise idea at some point to get up a school. Tear up this road, do the road around the school. And that would probably be a little bit better placement. Let's tear up the road. Just a bit. To about there. As I've already trying to figure out where the road removal tool is. Okay, so we want... That's going to be our mark. There we go. So the road remover from there to there. So we've marked that to be removed. The builders, when they have free time, will go tear it out. And then I can put the place where our school is going to be placed down a new road. So we've got 77 wood. We also finished clearing where we were clearing before. So let's do a little bit more clearing, because I still need more resources. And like that. I'm not really just clearing out the stone because I don't need stone right now. I want a quarry so that we have a person assigned to actually producing a trickle of stone. But I need more wood than stone for construction purposes. We're going to need a schoolhouse. Pause that once again. Can we get a well? That's not a pretty good place for a well. Not there. Not there either. You know, based on our current design, where we got things out in the forest. Probably, actually, yeah, that's probably the best place. I'm not going to pause the well because we got plenty of stone sitting around, so it can get built. There's no reason for it not to get built. And it's probably better to have the well before the fire than after the fire. Because then you can put it out. And we do have lots of buildings clumped together, so fire would be an issue. Once again, we still don't have enough leather. Not enough leather. We do have enough tools, so we're not burning through our iron like there's no tomorrow. Well, that's only 40 iron, so we got plenty of iron to complete the quarry as well. I'm going to raise the priority on getting supplies to that well. Just so they don't dilly-dally and do things like 50 miles away. Just so they actually get the well built. And they're dropping off supplies. We got 6 more stone to be delivered. And then most of this work on this well is actually just building it. They gotta dig down, we gotta pile up lots of stones. We got all the laborers with nothing better to do coming out here to... Oh, the entire food industry is turned off because we have plenty of stored food. I mean, like, why do we have so many people coming out to cut down trees? Because you got a lot of people that don't have anything better to do because they don't need to make more food. Okay, now let's get these houses on pause then. We can get people delivering stuff to the houses, as well as unpause the quarry. That's probably going to eat all our wood. Well, that was probably stupid, but let's do it anyway. What can go wrong, right? What can go wrong? A lot can go wrong. A lot can go very, very wrong. We are nearing the end of our 6th year. In tiny little village. You know, I don't even remember what the village is called. What is our village called? Does it tell me? Or Niversville. We're in the village of Niversville. Yes, I let the random name generator generate a name, and so I have no idea what it's called. And our well is coming along nicely. Ah, there we go. One complete well. Now when the fire starts, we'll actually have people who actually be able to put the fire out. Hurrah! People might actually have homes after the next fire. So these 11 homes, once we get all these homes in, we will actually have people. We'll get the schoolhouse in, and then I'll have to start worrying about people dying of old age, because that is a thing. And thinking about it, people that probably arrived here, the oldest ones are probably about 30. And that's being people's ages in seasons. So 30 seasons. Plus, we've been here 28 seasons. So we want people at like 58. So we're going to see all of our starting 4 families. So our starting 8 adults are all going to die within the next 3 years. Around about. I don't think any of them are going to live much past their 80s. Especially with no medicine. We've been running with no medicine, no healthcare since the start of the game. So we got food, we got tools, we got firewood, a little bit low on wood. We got new children. We got 8 children. We haven't actually had anyone die yet. Well, we've had one person die. We had that one child that decided, I want to play on the fire side of the river. He decided to walk all the way out, all the way around. Tip to parents. Don't let children do that. Because basically that was a child that went and got lost in the forest and died of starvation. We don't have a graveyard, so he has not been buried. He's still out in the forest somewhere. Granted, they don't actually properly bury anyone. They just die, and then spontaneously a gravestone appears in the graveyard, which we don't have because we don't have I haven't built one. I haven't built one because, well, I don't want to waste the stone, and we hopefully shouldn't need one yet. Hopefully. That might actually be something that I want to do after I'm done with these houses, because we got a lot of stone. We got a lot of stone available. And it's not that bad of a job to do, so that we don't take a happiness hit when all the old users kick the bucket from old age. So normally when a person dies in this game, you get an unhappiness loss, or you lose happiness if they die from anything aggressive, like they die of starvation, whatever. You get an unhappiness loss for that. And you get another unhappiness loss if they're not buried in a graveyard. So if you bury them in a graveyard, you at least avoid the loss of them not being buried, from a happiness standpoint. So that can keep your happiness a little bit higher. Happiness is also generated whenever people drink, or whenever a child is born. So usually early on, you don't need to turn to booze, right, to keep people happy, simply because they're going to be happy when they're births. If you can get a graveyard in soon enough and you don't have people starving or whatever, they'll stay happy. You don't need to bring out the booze. Healthiness, I've got enough food already that healthiness isn't really dropping. But I don't have any herbs, so it's not increasing. Once it drops, it's gone. I'm not getting it back at this point. Because I don't have any herbs. Don't have any medicine. Okay, so we got a quarry going. We got those houses. So let's spend the stone on graveyard. Where's the graveyard? Services, chapel, cemetery. So we need a cemetery. Right behind the quarry is probably a good idea. Spend 54 stone on a small little graveyard over here. I'll even be respectful and bring out a road to our cemetery. Not that anyone's actually going to use the road out to the cemetery. We're just probably going to build over here next. There's probably going to be a next building area once we fill this area over here, which we're not far away from doing. Once again, we have plenty of wood, plenty of firewood. We're going to eat through most of our stone, but we got easy to gather stone right here. And iron is not critical because we're gathering it. As you can see, one of our main reasons why we don't have a lot of iron sitting around is simply because people haven't been taking it from the mine and putting it in the stockpile. So this number is artificially low. Probably have about 10 to 12 more iron sitting in a temporary stockpile next to the mine itself. Now the question is, for the rest of building, what else do I need in here? Build more houses, yes. I've already got a marketplace planned, another trading post planned. Build the school, but I've got that planned, I don't have it built yet though. Hospital will be nice eventually. Chapel provides happiness whenever they visit it, but that's a very large expenditure. We need a cleric. And again, we have plenty of happiness. Crops. We can get those herbalists up, but that doesn't need to be in town. We don't want a tavern right now. And yeah, we've actually... The rest of the space can be for houses. So the question is, do I want to build stone houses so that we can serve, or can limit our firewood consumption during the winter? Or do I want to stick with wooden houses? We actually got the stone. I'm going to go ahead and prioritize this so they stop. Because this has been placed after this has been placed. So they're trying to gather everything out here first. So let's prioritize this. So whenever we got spare... Even when the herbalists are spared, we'll start delivering stone to our cemetery. So we can get our cemetery finished. A little bit more road there. So that whenever this tunnel is built, we got road right through it. Right. If I invest in stone, that will conserve on our wood usage, which means I need to produce less wood, which means more of our long-distance gathering can be used instead for firewood used to actually build stuff. Or I could build in wood, in which case we can get a lot more people to assign to jobs. But again, we're going to still consume a lot of firewood, which means more of them have to be assigned to making wood. Kind of yay, no, bad, good, all over the place. I don't know what I want to do as far as that's going. Getting these herbalists up would be a good place. Of course, right now we don't have lots of spare people. We do have 50-year-olds working, right? So our cemetery is almost complete. 68% complete. Of course, complete is all of these tasks complete. So it's 60% of these tasks complete. However, the actual hammering on it is about 40% complete. So let's get this schoolhouse up next. That's going to use up most of the rest of our stone. We got plenty of iron, and it's going to use up most of our wood. But technically we should be generating wood. we have the firewood already, so we're not in critical dire needs if the firewood runs out, right? Or if the logs run out, because we've got firewood situated that will be enough to take us through one winter. But we are going to have to move out and get down more trees eventually if we want to build anything. Because I have a feeling this consumes a lot more wood than our two foresters' lodges produce. Especially this one down here, because we've still got lots of stone and iron on the ground. Taking a valuable tree space. So we have a cemetery. So when the next person dies, we have a place to put them. Which is better than not having a place to put them. I.e., it doesn't make happiness when people die. It makes people not unhappy. Once again, we are in this area where we have more than enough tools. So, the blacksmith is not working because it doesn't have any need to work. Hey, the tailor actually has leather to make clothing with. We're actually getting pretty close to having enough clothing, which is also good. We need to assign one laborer to work in the schoolhouse so that we can now educate our people. We can have educated people. So they know to actually put bait on the fishhook. That is gonna... Right now, other than our 8 initial people, so we had 8 initial people that are educated, and that means that we have 17 uneducated people here. They're probably not going to get assigned to this school. There's going to be these 11 children that when they stop being children will go to school instead of going to work in the fields. Yes, we've already got two students. I forget how many this can hold. I think it's like 50 or something like that. 50, 20. We'll figure that out. Actually, no, we won't. We won't be figuring that out for a while. Because we won't be getting that close for a long while. Yes, that one teacher will be enough for our education system. Oh, I suppose I should build a hospital at some point. Decide where I'm going to put my hospital. Could place it right there. This is kind of just going to be a bottleneck area anyway. We can't really put any houses in here. Yeah, that's not a bad spot for it. Let's put it there. Again, it's going to be paused. We don't need a hospital. Get one more house here. We could technically put a house here. Yeah, we can put a house there. And there. Get a little bit more of it. Get another neighborhood over here. Put at least one more house row along here. Maybe we could get 2 in here. No, we can get one more house row here, 2 houses row here, a couple more houses there. So we got plenty of space for houses. The question is, do we want them out of stone? In which case we need iron, or do we want them out of wood? In which case they're going to consume more wood. Not in the construction, because you'll notice the stone house actually consumes 8 more wood to build. But in firewood. How much firewood do I want to have to produce? Let's go ahead and queue up this collect stone. And collect all that stone. I'm also going to collect a little bit of iron I see sticking right here. So we get that into our storage yards. So I can get a little bit better understanding on our local stone. Because, for example, I might decide, instead of building stone houses, to build wooden houses and get a trading post up. Because then we can start exporting and importing. Though we don't really have much to export. We can export tools and coats, which I don't really want to do. And we can export firewood, but then we have to make more wood. Which, again, you don't really have the ability to make massive amounts of wood. You can easily trickle feed it. That's not a problem. Though if it's for something like sheep, selling all our tools and wood off, stuff like that, to get like 2 sheep would be worth it. Also, we could possibly sell food to turn into other stuff, because we do have surplus food. I don't even have my food industry maxed out. I can easily put another 400 out here. The food person was also the same one that buys the herbs. Otherwise I'd be saying, oh, let's get the herb industry up going, and then we can sell herbs. But yeah, all our food industry, because we have too much food at the moment, based off of our limit right now. We're out gathering stuff. Actually, most of our food is venison. We got a lot of venison sitting here. Venison is actually worth quite a bit. So I could possibly, if someone came in wanting to buy our venison, go ahead and sell off the venison. I think I'm going to go ahead and play a bit longer. I think I'm going to play these in 5-year batches. Because as long as it's running at a smooth pace, then that's okay. If I have to do a lot of pausing, a lot of micro, then I might make an episode shorter. We got one laborer, we got a couple builders. Everything's looking nice. We have a cemetery capable of holding the entire town plus extras. Yeah, we don't need to build in the cemetery for a long time. That'll be actually, that was an okay investment. Just putting that down. We had the stone. We won't be regretting it when people start dying. We have a quarry down that's making us stone. We have an iron mine making us stone. So we got the goods. Maybe a little bit low on wood, but technically we also have renewable wood. So yeah, you're complaining about... Oh, yeah, because we have 50 tools in there. I'm actually running out of things to talk about. I have this little trading post, or I have a plan for a trading post. We don't really have enough wood for it yet. We got the iron, we got the stone. We don't really have the wood. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause it, because I've decided we're going to go with wood now, so we can try getting the trading going. This is going to raise our demand for firewood, which is going to make it hard to supply, keep a wood supply up, right? But if we can get in some livestock, then we can just have more people, because a pasture industry would probably be the most productive. So that we get chickens and I get in chickens, cows, or other stuff. That would be a wise idea. In fact, if we get in sheep, for example, and we get enough sheep, we can run the clothing industry off of the wool, and I can sell the leather. Or if we get cows, that gives us more leather, that gives us more clothing, I can sell clothing. Oh, we're all of a sudden very short on... Oh, that's because they're already dragged all the iron off. The iron's all been dragged out of the stockpile to put in the trading post. So right now we're just short on the wood for the trading post. And we have more iron and stone to gather. And this is a little annoying that it's such a long hike for this wood. Yeah, as far as returns for like putting down the food building, the highest returns is the farm. It costs practically nothing to set up a farm, besides having the seeds. It costs however much the seeds cost, right, for you. But once you got the seeds, you can put down as many farms as you want and farm large areas. But that's very labor intensive. Orchards are about the same. Again, they're labor intensive to get output from, but they're easy to plant once you have the seeds. Herding, you have to build fences, and fences have a lot more cost to them because they're all made out of wood. But they're probably the most labor efficient from food output because you only need one person per field to get adequate returns on your fields. Hunting, if you're on hard, hunting is the only way to get leather, to make clothing before you've traded for livestock. Because you need if you want clothes, the only place to get clothes from is either trading or leather before you have wool or cows to get leather from. So that's kind of what hunting is for. It's kind of middle of the road. It doesn't produce a lot of food. Granted, it's not producing a horrible amount of food. It's producing a lot of food. But it's the fact that you can get leather from it. Fish you can put on any water source, so usually those are they're not very productive jobs, but they are very close to town, so usually they're very space efficient labor for you. So fish will always return good relative to the labor you're putting it on, as long as you don't build it far away from town. Generally per labor unit, I believe farms are actually a little bit better. The fishing's only kind of okay, and it is expensive to set up. Like, I don't really think it's worth the cost early game to set up if you want access to crops. We've already talked about herding. Gatherers is probably the most productive per labor hour besides herdables, livestock. But the drawback is you have to have them in forested areas. Otherwise they'll lose a lot of their productiveness. If you put them in an open field, they'll still produce food, but you'd be better off. You'd get about as much as a hunting cabin. And gatherers and hunting cabins don't like to overlap with more of their kind. So you basically have a gatherer and a hunting cabin in the open field, and they'd be using the same amount of labor to get the same amount of food. Okay, so our training post is coming along. It is late autumn, or early winter of 8. So we're in the 8th year. I'm going to play straight through until the end of the 9th year, or at the very beginning of the 10th year. So I'll have the first 10 years for you guys. We'll see how this village progresses in that time. Space for 66 graves, and we haven't actually had any people die except the one child that had to go out into the middle of the forest and starve. Why did you have to decide that you wanted to have to play on the other side of the river? Can't you just wait until the bridge gets built? A little wooden bridge here. So we still got the stone there to pick up. The trees are coming in. We are actually low on firewood because we haven't had enough wood in the stockpile for the lumber or woodcutter to work, which is not good. As you can see if we zoom in, so the hunter had hunted and didn't pick up the stuff from the large game. So one thing about the hunter is the hunter, regardless of whether or not you can see any huntables in the area, there's always small game that the hunter can hunt. So the hunter is most efficient if it can hunt large game, like the sheep and the deer and stuff like that. But the deer are chased off by people. I think the little game is also technically chased off by people. But so hunter is best left in places exposed on multiple sides, so that game can wander in, and in low traffic areas, so that they have time to go gather stuff. So that means you could actually have the hunter's lodge right on the edge of town, because then you've got a large exposed area where it can hunt, right? It obviously isn't going to work in the middle of town. There's no game in the middle of town, right? Whereas a fishing dock, you can really put a fishing dock in almost the middle of town, and it's going to be about as productive no matter where you put it relative. Fishing docks are also dependent upon how much water they have access to. So they'd be quite productive on like this lake or this river. This little stream, it's not worth putting a fishing dock on. It's just an annoyance that you have to bridge, basically. It's also decorative, so it gives you something to work around, makes the landscape a bit pretty instead of a monotonous, factorized zone. No giant factories. We're in the land of Banished, not in the land of factory. So no giant lines of machines building tools en masse. No, each one has to be handcrafted by a worker. So I'm almost done with our trading post here. We do have a little bit of wood, so we should be gathering, or should be having more wood cut by our woodcutter. We do still have a, we really have a shortage of laborers, which is why we don't really have a lot of wood coming in, or a lot of stone, a lot of anything. Other than food. We have plenty of food. We won't have starving people for at least a little while. At some point I might want to put a barn about halfway down here. Just for whenever I want to increase the gather. Actually, no, I probably do want it in town. Because it would be best to have these inefficient at producing, to not have people wandering out in the middle of nowhere to gather their food. Even though technically that's what this is for. The whole point of putting a market here is so that people will travel for other people to get stuff. So I could technically, if this was done, put a barn out in the middle of nowhere, and this would go fetch from that barn. Granted, this tends to fetch for whatever's closest, so this might go to the barn right next door, gather all from that. The barn would then be empty, so people would be going here, but then this would be going to wherever the stuff is going from, right? So you still get a little bit of inefficiency. Okay, we have a trading post. I don't actually get anyone assigned to the trading post right away. Because that just is people moving it to, from, back, forth, that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to assign anyone to it right away. So we got that one spare laborer. There really isn't anything I need built at the moment. So I'm going to actually... Well, I suppose I could build roads and stuff, but yeah, there's nothing I really need built at the moment. We got enough stone for whatever, we got enough iron, we got enough wood. So we'll just let those guys go out and gather stuff, while we wait to see what the next merchant comes in and wants to trade with us. But we do need a lot more wood, so I need to wait until the wood comes in before I queue up any more jobs. And maybe wait until some people graduate. So you have a feeling this is probably 20 people goes to school? 20, 25? Because we're about a third filled with 7, so yeah, it's probably about 20. Forget how much goes there. It's been a long while since I've played last. A child named Cinceretti has been born, giving us 8 children, 7 in school. So we have a lovely bustling population of 40. So we have a nice little village here. Other than starvation, there's no massive death events that could occur to us. It's going to cripple everything. We do still have some very old people. We got Clark in here, who's 61. I think our oldest person in town is 61. Yeah, oldest person in town is 61. Living in the very first house built. And again, really, the only thing we're noticing is a little bit of a wood shortage. Woodcutter is complaining that it doesn't have any wood. But we have wood. Oh well. So we got 100 stone in the stockpile. We got 20 iron. Maybe a little bit low on iron. And again, we have plenty of tools. Well, we're actually losing a little bit on the coats. Coats are falling a little bit behind. But that may just because we're not getting enough. People haven't been hunting, so they haven't been getting food. Because we've just had enough food, right? Can't wait until some of these people graduate. So we can give them jobs. Here, go do X. We now have another student. And we've had a new child. Nico has been born. Everything's going along. We're a quaint little village. Here's the summer of 9. I was actually thinking this guy was a little bit older. Didn't realize he was only 61. So we might actually be able to make another 5 to 6 years before people start dying. So the cemetery might have been actually preemptive. But now we don't have to worry about building a cemetery in 6 years because it's there. It's done. I can forget it until it gets full. And then even then I might forget about it. A couple people going over the cemetery limit, not a bad thing. Everyone a massive amount of people going over the cemetery limit, so you don't have one is really bad. Okay, we have 2 people have finished their schooling and has become an adult. So we actually have laborers. Well, let's finish the road around our marketplace. We have not yet finished all our gathering jobs out here, so I'm not going to immediately try assigning them this stuff. We don't really need any more food, otherwise I'd assign them to hunting. We'll wait until the builders get to that road, and then I might actually work on these herbalists. If I can get the herbalists in, get some herbs in, then it'll be, it'll actually improve our healthcare. We'll actually have healthcare. If you have a headache, we actually have medicine. So that you just sit there holding your head going like, oh, my head hurts. It is the late summer of 9. We're down to 2,000 food. It doesn't seem to be going up much. So we might actually need to start assigning people to food. Assigning more people to food. Oh, we need to have a new child called Hezekiel has been born, and a new student. And I've just got a text from someone. You know what? Okay. Not an important text, just telling me that someone that was helping me with something has, or someone that I was helping with something is finished what they're needing help with. Okay. Another person has become a laborer. We have 4 laborers. We have another student. So I'm actually going to assign these laborers to hunting because our food is starting to get a little low. See if I can get a little bit more food out of our hunting. It's not going to be really bad. All the laborers go hunt. Right now our laborers are builders. That way we can hopefully get a lot more food in. And then I hopefully don't have to expand to another gatherer. Because I have to go really far away from another gatherer, and I don't really want to do it. Yeah, the next closest space is not very close. Or I'd have to start reforesting the area, which doesn't sound pretty. Oh, another one of our students has become an adult. We do have more of our young people who are becoming students, which is good. We'll leave them as a laborer. Having one laborer around isn't bad. Now we do have enough wood. Well, we have enough wood. We don't seem to be generating that much firewood. They must actually be burning the firewood now. This is where if we'd started building iron or building stone houses, where we'd be consuming less wood, right? Less firewood. Let's get these herbalists built. Or let's get that herbalist built. We need more wood for the other one. And we'll just keep rolling on. It is late of autumn 9. And we are actually out of firewood. It's not good. Though our lovely woodcutter here does produce a lot of firewood pretty quickly. When he's actually working, right? Hope I don't have to build another one, that would be bad. It is early winter of 9. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a break here when we survive the winter, right? When we get into the next year. The herbalist. Wait, I've only unpaused the other one, so the other one's done. We got enough. All the supplies are there, so the builders will build it. We got 2 free laborers. So probably one of those will get assigned to this herbalist when it's done. That firewood shortage though is a little worrying. Though granted, it could be just a lot of places ran out of firewood around the same time. And the usual response for someone when they realize their house is at a firewood is to go to the stockpile and grab firewood. You want to know the size they grab of it in? 50. So a lot of firewood. So they'll go up and pick up all the firewood, or like a fourth of the maximum stockpile of firewood, bring it to their house. Granted, if their house doesn't have firewood, they will actually go to a neighboring house. So it's not a bad thing that we're out of firewood. It just couldn't get out of hand. Where we got a lot of houses that don't have firewood. So like we have one house that's actually short on firewood. This house is down, or was down to 7 before someone delivered it. So yes, as long as we got constant firewood production, we're not in a bad thing. Oh, our first person died. The person that was the teacher died. And one of our students is aged up into being labor, so we'll send him off to being an herbalist. So we'll get some medicine, so people live longer. We have one person in the cemetery. And it wasn't our 71-year-old, it was one of our younger people. So yeah, people are going to start dying off of old age. Which is why we need to expand. In fact, we're probably going to have a slight population, we're still going to have a slight population crunch. We don't really have enough generations in their own houses yet. I have 2 generations here. So this one's going to crash, and we got 10 years to make more people right before this one crashes. And we only have 11 houses, so 11 times 2, 22 adults have basically breeding privileges. And obviously that means we're not getting as many people as we could. Because that means 9 people aren't breeding. Okay, so we got enough wood. Probably get this herbalist built. We can get another person on making herbs for us. And our firewood is starting to come back. And it is early spring. So I am Willcol100. And this is Banished. If you like this and want to see more, please leave a like and a subscription. The like notifies me via YouTube that you want to see more. If you have any, and the subscription, as I'm almost forgetting it, subscription makes it so that if and when more is made, you are notified via YouTube that it's been made, that you can watch it. If you have any comments on what you'd like to see me do better, or what you'd like to see me play, again, please leave those as a comment in the comment section. Until next time, this is Willcol100.